Good evening, everybody. James Brierton here with you in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are tracking a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, and we'll take you right there now in upstate South Carolina, where the National Weather Service in Greenville, Spartanburg, has just issued a tornado warning. This is a radar-indicated rotation that they are seeing with this cell right now. So to get you some more information on exactly where this cell is, we'll go ahead and pop the bulletin up on your screen, and I'll read it here with you. Just in the last few minutes at 9:55, the National Weather Service was tracking a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, which was located near Easley, moving east at 30 miles an hour. The dangerous storm will be near Easley here at about the 10 o'clock hour. It's 10:03 now on Saturday, May the 3rd, and they are keeping a very close eye on this. I believe it's over a relatively rural area. And so you can see on your screen right now, we've got a yellow polygon for a severe thunderstorm warning, but also that red polygon, that is for the tornado warning. We have right now on the screen for you reflectivity, which shows rainfall intensity. But if we go ahead and flip this on over to velocity, we can actually see where that rotation is being picked up right now by radar. And so that is what the Weather Service is denoting. It's where the greens and the reds come together. So again, this storm is moving off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. And so what we would expect to see out of this storm, and I'm going to go ahead and ask it to loop less because it was taking us way too far back in history. We just kind of want maybe a couple of radar frames here. Is we would expect this storm to kind of be hugging near US 123 over the course of the next few minutes or so, because that storm track, again, right here off to the east in the next 30 minutes or so is going to put the storm over towards Welcome. The polygon right now does fall short of Greenville, but we'll be watching carefully for whether or not this storm will be coming into Greenville. We have US 123 right in here. You can see that on your screen right now. And again, it's the area on your screen where the green and the red kind of come closest together. I'm going to try again to put this into motion. I just wanted the last 10 frames, computer, and I could have sworn that's what I asked you for. Sure enough, I did, but we're getting way more frames than that. So let's just do it manually here, because you can see as this storm comes out of Liberty, you actually first have some rotation north of Liberty. And you can see it there between Pickens and Liberty, where the green and the red kind of come together. The green is actually so bright, it's almost white. And then as the storm continues off to the east, you can see the rotation kind of reforms further south now, kind of south of Easley. And if we switch back over to reflectivity, we might be able to get maybe a little bit of an indicator at all on where this rotation might be here, as again it continues off to the east. I'm going to zoom out here just for a moment, kind of again give you the lay of the land. At this hour in the Carolinas, I believe this is the only storm with any sort of warning on it. We certainly had severe weather roll through the Carolinas earlier today. We've had on again, off again showers and thunderstorms for the last few hours or so. But there is yet another line of storms making its way out of Georgia. Those lines of storms have been pretty strong, especially for this hour of the day where, you know, long ago we lost the heating of the day. So we'll watch for more of these storms as they make their way up out of Georgia to potentially impact us with severe weather as we roll on through the rest of the night. These storms are kind of all moving off here to the north and to the east slightly, and we just saw several tornado warnings back down through Georgia. It looks like Georgia has just one right now. I'll switch this radar back over to Greenville, Spartanburg. We too have just the one tornado warning, but I wouldn't forget to keep a close eye on these storms that are kind of coming out of Athens and Elberton that'll be making their way into South Carolina here in the next few moments, because the next few minutes or so, because I think that's likely where, if we were to see any more tornadic activity tonight, that could be where that kind of occurs and spins up as we go on through the rest of the night. So again, we have right now just one severe thunderstorm warning. We are keeping a close eye on as well on the Charlotte area, because Charlotte has numerous outdoor concerts happening tonight, and they've already had to evacuate once due to a lightning threat. And so we need to keep a close eye on that, because they don't need a warning, they just need lightning in order for that to be impactful this evening in the Charlotte area. So we're certainly also keeping a very close eye on any lightning that has the potential to go rumbling through the Charlotte area, because that is definitely a time and place where people will need to act quickly in order to seek shelter. And the same thing, if you're at an outdoor event, any place else right now in the Carolinas, certainly need to keep a very watchful eye on all of this as it continues to play on out here on this Saturday night. We'll go ahead and we're going to turn that ticker off here for a few minutes. Thanks to our Patreon supporters, and thanks to everyone who's watching me right now on the Carolina Weather Net, where we've been live streaming severe weather warnings, radars, and watches throughout the day. And as you can see, you've got a live human being with you now here as we're watching this thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. We don't have any confirmation that there is or was a tornado, but the National Weather Service is telling us that the circulation they were watching has cleared easily. As you can see here on the screen, the polygon is now off to the east of Easley, and that has in fact also weakened quite a bit, which is always good news. We will always want to see that weakening. Now, I mentioned a few moments ago that we have seen in Georgia today some of those thunderstorms that got... Stand by. All right, so the National Weather Service is issuing an update on the tornado warning. So I will show that to you here on the screen. You might actually be able to hear in the background right now the bot that reads the warnings that we have been using on the Carolina Weather Net throughout the day. And that's reading out some of the warnings now in the background. So again, we're watching this thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado just east of Easley, kind of paralleling US 123, almost crossing over 123. Again, it's making its way towards Greenville. Greenville, you are not in this warning right now, but if you're getting ready for bed, I would not let your guard up. You're going to want multiple ways in order to receive severe weather warnings, and one of those could certainly be NOAA Weather Radio. We highly recommend those. We can see, I got a comment here saying, wow, that's a pretty big tornado warning. The tornado warning itself is just this red polygon right here. It's only about 4.5 miles across and about 6.5 miles small. So it's a relatively small area right now. It is housed inside of a greater severe thunderstorm warning, and that the severe thunderstorm warning should not be taken lightly either. That's for the potential of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts associated with this same line of thunderstorms that is moving out of Easley east at about 30 miles an hour. So we can expect potential wind damage in Easley, Welcome, Furman, West Greenville, Powdersville, Cherrydale Point, Greenville downtown is inside, just inside this severe thunderstorm warning, as is Travelers Rest. And then nested inside of that is this radar warning that does expire in the next 3 minutes. But we know the National Weather Service has just gone ahead and updated kind of the positioning and the tracking of that tornado warning that they are monitoring here. And so they do have that warning in effect for east central Pickens counties until 10:15. We'll wait to see what they decide to do in the next 3 or 4 minutes on whether or not they're going to continue that or cancel it. But again, they are watching this area of circulation located near Easley or just off to the east of Easley and continuing off to the east at 30 miles an hour. So if you are in that area or you know somebody that's in that area, give them a call. And what we want you to do is we want you to seek shelter inside a sturdy building, lowest level of that home or building, as many walls and windows between you and the outside as possible. Again, we don't have any confirmation right now that anything is on the ground, but we get these tornado warnings issued by the National Weather Service so that you have time to go ahead and get yourself to a safe place. As soon as that warning comes on out, you certainly want to be moving to a safe place, and hopefully you know where that is. If you are out ahead of this tonight, you can certainly be planning now for where you might go in the middle of the night if a severe weather warning is issued for you. As we head on through the rest of Saturday, the severe weather situation has improved some from where it was earlier today. I can show you the Storm Prediction Center outlook on your screen right now, and this is issued by the Storm Prediction Center arm of the National Weather Service, and these are those categories we often tell you about. So right now, all we have left for the most part in the Carolinas is a marginal risk, and that's kind of that green, marginal being 1 out of 5 risk of seeing severe weather. There's a little bit of a sliver, a slight risk that still kind of cuts into the border between South Carolina and Georgia, but that earlier stripped all the way up through the I-77 corridor in North Carolina and South Carolina. So that has been cut back a bit thanks to the loss of daytime heating as we go through the overnight hours. But again, that's just for the chance of seeing a tornado, damaging wind, or hail. That doesn't speak to at all the chance of lightning. And so that's why with Kendrick Lamar, Love and Life Music Festival happening in Charlotte, we certainly still want to keep an eye on things. And then you can see tomorrow, that marginal risk is still with us tomorrow. It slides off to the east. So eastern portions of North Carolina and South Carolina and those coastal regions will have to watch for a few more scattered storms as we go on through the day tomorrow. And so our Carolina Weather Net will be streaming with you all night long and throughout the day tomorrow to help you keep an eye on those. We're watching now to see what the National Weather Service decides to do with this tornado warned cell that is, again, just off of Easley on the east side here, moving east at 30 miles an hour. And the Weather Service had noted it, and we discussed it as well too here on stream, that the circulation has really weakened. So if we switch on over to velocity, and this is where the winds are spinning to and from the radar, you can kind of see, and let me slow it down here a little bit again, when that tornado warning was issued just before the 10 o'clock hour, you can actually see. Well, no, this is interesting because we were watching a couple different areas of circulation, right? At one point here, you can see just south of Easley, there's that really bright spot on radar. And if we query that, you can see that the radar was detecting winds of about 60 miles an hour. And that would be the threshold for at least a severe thunderstorm. And then the reason they went and issued that tornado warning is because we were also getting the winds here. Again, the green and the red are winds moving in opposite directions. And so when we have those really close together, you have the chance of radar indicated rotation. We can almost see kind of a little heavy burst of wind right in here just south of where that tornado warning was near Powderville, about 60 miles an hour, and this was 10:09, so just a few minutes ago. You know, radar is our best friend when it comes to tracking these storms, but radar is inherently also always behind because it has to do a full rotation of the sky before it prints out to us what it is that it is seeing. So this is not live, but this is the latest and greatest radar imagery available to us and available to anyone. That's just a little bit of how radar works, whether you're watching it on TV or even looking at it on your phone. So we're going to wait to see here what the National Weather Service decides to do with this tornado warning that is set to expire right now at 10:15. I imagine this is going to probably disappear off the map. It sure enough has. It does label it as expired, and I haven't heard from the National Weather Service any sort of further issuance on any additional tornado warning. So that probably speaks a lot to, you know, kind of their state of mind right now with these storms. Now, it's still worth noting that we do still have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for another 28 minutes or so. And what would be probably likely to happen if the Weather Service continued to see winds of at least 60 miles an hour or so is that that severe thunderstorm warning will probably slide off to the east and kind of go with this storm as it continues off to the east, more or less in that Interstate 85 corridor. So we'll wait to see what they decide to do with that severe thunderstorm warning over the course of the next 30 minutes to 60 minutes or so. It's kind of dark outside right now, so getting visuals of this storm are very difficult to do after night. They're actually, frankly, very difficult to do in the Carolinas at all. It's not like the movie Twisters, where you can see for a long period of time a twister real far away. So we do have a WeatherStem camera, though, that I can show you in Greenville, South Carolina here, that just begins to show the rain that is coming down with this storm. And there's something illuminating the screen there at this hour. So what poor visibility I had is now really just being shown with light on it, and that is not making it any easier for us to see exactly what might or might not be going on the ground. I believe we also have a WeatherStem station at Pickens County Emergency Management here in South Carolina. Of course, we're in the upstate area. I'll briefly put that on the screen for you, but again, you can't necessarily see a whole lot. happening with those cameras right now. So we will keep an eye on the cameras, on the radar, and of course everything that's happening with the National Weather Service as we go on through the remainder of the evening. I mentioned more than once now that there is a concert, a Kendrick Lamar concert happening in Charlotte, North Carolina. There's also the Love and Life Music Festival happening in uptown Charlotte. These are both outdoor venues where, again, any lightning, whether it's a severe thunderstorm or not, could be dangerous to folks. Lightning is not a requirement to issue severe thunderstorm warning, or to put that another way, it's wind and hail and tornadoes that get severe thunderstorm warnings issued. Lightning does not get a warning issued, so you can get lightning without getting a warning. Here's a look right now at Bank of America Stadium. The Kendrick Lamar concert is underway here in Charlotte, and I can assure you, or I certainly hope so, that officials are monitoring the weather. It seems like they have, because we know they did evacuate earlier the Love and Life Music Festival when lightning came on through for a thunderstorm. And so right now you can see we do have this view of Charlotte. You can see the buildings lit up here from the WeatherStem camera at Bank of America Stadium, and that's where the Kendrick Lamar concert is happening. We are getting some new severe thunderstorm warnings coming in, so I'll show those to you here on stream. James Brierton with you on Saturday, May the 3rd, 2025, now 10:18 p.m. on this Saturday. As we're watching storms across the Carolinas, we have, again, just at least one severe thunderstorm warning, and I can hear others kind of being read in. And you might be able to hear them on my microphone as well, too, as we're continuing to monitor exactly all of the severe weather warnings that are coming in real time from the National Weather Service. So the National Weather Service is continuing to monitor here in the Greenville-Spartan area this severe thunderstorm warning that previously did have a tornado warning on it. It doesn't currently have a tornado warning on it. They are going just with the severe thunderstorm warning on it, and I use air quotes because a severe thunderstorm warning can be just as damaging as a tornado warning. This one also, of note, does say that it has a tornado possible, and they likely did that because of its history of rotation that we saw over the course of the last 30 or 40 minutes or so. So again, the National Weather Service does have this warning for Greenville and a portion of Spartanburg County here in upstate South Carolina. It's for Spartanburg County, not for Spartanburg the city. It does have the tornado possible tag. The circulation that we've been watching over the last 20 or 30 minutes or so has broadened, but could tighten up again, the National Weather Service warns. And again, we have seen that happen more than once tonight across the region where things did kind of tighten up, and when we got another severe thunderstorm warning downstream. Let me zoom out, show you the big picture here. Again, we don't have any tornado warnings in the Carolinas at this moment. We began our stream at about 10 o'clock because one had been issued. And the National Weather Service is continuing to keep a close eye on this cluster of thunderstorms. You can see now that this polygon has grown bigger as they continue to track that thunderstorm that at one point did have the tornado warning on it. But we've got now a fairly large severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. And you know, there was a comment earlier about how big the tornado warning was. Well, I would say this severe thunderstorm warning is about 28 miles wide when you combine it with the new one plus the existing one, and about 25 miles tall. And so again, this does include portions of Greenville and Spartanburg County. The city of Greenville is included. The city of Spartanburg is not yet included, but we do have Greer and the airport there that is included, as well as all the other cities that you can see on the screen right now. This does also notably include Interstate 85 from Golden Grove on the south side up to Duncan on the north side. And again, we would probably expect, if I put this into motion and kind of get the momentum of these storms for you, you can kind of see that more or less they're moving to the north and east. So we could maybe expect to see, if these storms hold together, that a severe thunderstorm warning might come into Boiling Springs and Spartanburg and so downstream over the course of the next maybe 60 minutes or so. To the south, we're watching again, I had mentioned on stream, some of those lines of storms coming out of the Athens area in Georgia, coming now into South Carolina, so Anderson and south. You know, eventually onto Greenwood, Mount Carmel, McCormick. You know, what really draws my eye about these is kind of the jagged edge on them, because that's what tornadoes like. They like this like squiggly little edge because that allows them to kind of spin up in there. So we'll keep a very close eye on that. And I'm not sure, we might have an outflow boundary being detected here. I think we do. So right, it's going to be about in here in the last frame. Out ahead of where you see the rain certainly in the orange and the red there, you start to see the kind of this ghostly line that comes out in front. It looks green. That's an outflow boundary. And so that's actually wind pushing out ahead of the storm. And as that wind moves out, it oftentimes lifts up in the atmosphere the air and the moisture you need to then dump down a lot of these thunderstorms. Sometimes those outflow boundaries can collide. I don't know that I have any evidence of it right now, but theoretically, if the storm that is moving in eastward and the storms that are over, say, Promised Land and Bradley here, well, if this has an outflow boundary going this way and this has an outflow boundary going this way, if those two were to meet, that's another way that you can kind of push that up in the atmosphere, and then that might generate a storm. Kind of similar, if you like analogies, to like the way earthquake and plates work, right? You know, we talk about, oh, these things to hit together and then that tension's got to go someplace. That energy's got to go someplace. Same thing with these outflow boundaries. Back here in the Charlotte area, I would say we got to keep a close eye on storms over York, Chester, and Union County, South Carolina. Matter of fact, I'm going to switch on over right now to velocity, and I just want to see if I can pick up any senses of rotation with these, maybe weakly or broadly. But they've got this look to them when we look at them on reflectivity that's kind of just broad and scroungy, if you will. And that's where the tornadoes kind of like to sneak in. And so we'll watch kind of for the possibility, like for instance, right on in here, kind of catches my eye when we look at the way the rain is formed. And then if I switch on over to velocity, we do kind of have an area of red and green coming together. No warning right now, but again, everyone just needs multiple ways to receive weather warnings overnight. And by multiple ways, I don't mean my cell phone's going to have an app and my cell phone's going to get a text message. Your cell phone is only one way to get warnings, so you would need more than one way. NOAA Weather Radio is a beautiful way to get warnings over an analog radio signal. They're pretty resilient to outages. A NOAA Weather Radio works just like a smoke detector. It will beep in the middle of the night and wake you up. And so if you happen to have one of those, make sure it's got some backup batteries in it, plug it in, and see if that's available to you. If you don't have one tonight, look into getting one, maybe shipped to you, or you buy one locally and have it for the next time, because we're just now coming into spring and summer, right? Crystal says, thanks so much for the warning. It's headed right towards us here in North Carolina. Stay safe, everybody. You're very welcome, Crystal. Appreciate you being with us here on the Carolina Weather Group tonight. Another comment says, appears to be getting better. I'm not sure specifically what about. Overall, yes. We're in a better position than we were, say, at about 5 o'clock today, when we really had that heating of the day really culminating to fire off a lot of these storms. But we do certainly still have quite a bit of energy in the atmosphere here tonight. And you can see that with these thunderstorms that are scattered across the Carolinas. Again, right now they are mostly over central and western portions of the Carolinas. We don't have a lot of activity right now at the coast. We do have rain right now kind of moving into the triangle. We had some storms roll through there earlier. I'm not seeing lightning with those storms right now, unless it just hasn't populated on my screen for some particular reason. So it seems like a lot of the convective energy is now over South Carolina and Georgia, and we'll wait to see if it holds together. If anyone's noticed, there's a blue box on the screen here. That's called a mesoscale discussion. It is one of the ways the National Weather Service gets a really technical information passed along to meteorologists, both in broadcast and on YouTube, and in other sectors as well, aviation and public event safety. It's got some really technical jargon in it. Sometimes goes right over my head, but the thing that I like about it is they oftentimes will tell us whether or not they're considering issuing a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch. So this mesoscale discussion, which was issued at 10:14 Eastern Time or 9:14 Central Time, so just in the last couple of minutes or so, is concerning an existing severe thunderstorm watch. And so this is kind of an update to say that they are continuing to track isolated severe threat that is persistent into northeast Georgia and western South Carolina. However, continued nocturnal stabilization should limit the coverage of this threat. That is to say that as we continue to get later on into the evening hours, we've lost the heating of the sun. And so as we burn off the energy and as that energy wanes, we're not expecting to get more of it generated. If this was the middle of the day and that sun was still out there heating down on us, that might be a different story. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. So let's do a little tour here. Let's get out our velocity tool. This helps us detect any sort of rotation with these storms. It is real interesting to me that right now this storm that is over Greenville and Spartanburg counties is so close to the radar that it's almost hard to see. It's almost too much of a good thing. The radar is right on in here at the National Weather Service in Greenville, Spartanburg. They are at the Greer Airport. And so that's where their radar is as well too. And when it gets real close, it's kind of hard to see. But nothing immediately jumps out to me. There's a couple areas that I'm sure they are watching. But again, as we make our way just south of there for those storms that are coming out of the Athens area in Georgia, you can see that boundary between the red and the green. And this is where we're going to watch for possible tornadoes to spin up, especially since you can see that line is kind of kinky. And that allows some rotation to kind of spin on up. So, you know, I'm looking south of Simpsonville here, and if I go back a couple frames, you know, I'm watching things where this, I thought I had the telestrator out. This right in here a little bit is of interest to me. Again, right now it seems pretty flush. I don't see like a hook appendage. But I'm sure that is one of the areas the National Weather Service is watching. Going down towards Greenwood, lightning doesn't mean necessarily a whole lot, but we're getting lightning, we're getting convective. Just wanted a closer look at that. Again, watching here, York, Chester counties in South Carolina, just outside the Charlotte area. It's just a couple things with these storms. I'm going to put a dual panel on. And so you've got the same storm information now on both the left and right panel. So you'll notice that, for instance, Charlotte is in the top right of both those sides. And the left side is the rain, the right side is the winds, because they each have characteristics that I'm looking at. So if you can see my mouse, like right over here, I see a little indent. That indent may have just moved up a pixel or two there. Luckily, like, this thunderstorm is coming into York, the city of York, inside the county of York. I don't really see anything over here on the right side that really screams trouble to me just yet. I will switch to the terminal radar. There is another radar that services the airport in Charlotte. See, and that gives us, it doesn't go as far. Like, it, you know, you can see we lose data pretty quickly, but what is, again, that's that same spot that I've now circled on at least two different radar. I'm going to go to Columbia. Columbia's got a radar. Yeah, see, Columbia's kind of got it too, broadly. Now, Columbia's radar is way too high in the atmosphere. As a radar gets further and further away, radar beam gets further and further away from where it originates, it starts getting really high. I don't know. It's. I mean, this is probably really high up in the atmosphere. It's only 3,500 feet. I think we got to watch that. The only warning we have right now is for this severe thunderstorm warning that continues over portions of Greenville County and Spartanburg County in upstate South Carolina. There are no tornado warnings on the board right now. I know some of you are just tuning in. Our stream says tornado warnings in the Carolinas. That was true at 10 o'clock when we came on. The tornado warning has been allowed to expire, but this severe thunderstorm warning, which goes for another 29 minutes, or essentially to 11 o'clock Eastern, still has a tornado possible tag on it. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We do have a storm report that came in just north of Liberty at 9:49, so this is about the time we were watching that area rotation. 52 mile per hour wind gust was observed by an AWIPS station there, so that's an automated wind reading at the airport just north of downtown Liberty, and this is along US 178. So very helpful to have that automation, monitoring that and recording that tonight. And, you know, it is beacons like that at airports, at weather stations around the country that really help observe those things. And human beings are still needed to maintain them when they break. I've had the privilege of meeting some of the folks at National Weather Service, Greenville, Spartanburg, that maintain the radar, maintain those observation stations, and really help everyone know what's going on. eye in the sky, eye on the ground. Getting quite a bit of lightning right now with that York County, City of York, South Carolina storm here. That's the one that I wasn't ultimately too concerned about at first, but okay, now see, so like that right there still makes me a little curious. I know right now the National Weather Service has issued a special weather statement for these storms. That is essentially their way of saying, hey, we're watching the storm. Hey, it doesn't meet severe criteria. It doesn't have 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1-inch size hail, or a tornado with it, but it's probably worth watching. And so they know, for instance, that this storm right now over York County has half-inch size hail and 50-mile-per-hour winds. So it's real close to the threshold, especially on winds. And then that storm further off to the south does have a slightly older special weather statement. That had hail of almost 9/10 of an inch associated with it. So again, hail is a factor when it comes to getting severe thunderstorm warnings issued, and radar helps us with that too. Not seeing any reds right now on the radar scale, but again, we are seeing a yellow right here coming into the city of York. So wouldn't be surprised if we're continuing to get some hail with these storms. Let's see if we get up there. Okay, there we go. Actually, better. I clicked the wrong hail product. This one's a little bit more high definition, if you will. You can see now we do have, again, some of those reds here. This image is about 12 minutes old, so I bet you if I jump back over to reflectivity, which we get more often, the storm's going to jump forward a little bit. So it's probably hailing over the city of York now. Again, not at that 1-inch size threshold, but enough that if you were inside, you would hear that pitter-patter for sure. We do have a special weather statement also for some of those storms that are coming out of Georgia that I was a little concerned about. 55-mile-per-hour winds, gusty winds can knock down tree limbs and blow around unsecure objects. No mention of tornadoes or anything with that right now. You can get another good shot of that outflow boundary right in here. We had a storm roll through here in Charlotte yesterday, and before we even got the first raindrops, that outflow boundary hit us. Got 20-mile-per-hour wind gusts recorded at the Tempest weather station I've got here, and man, that certainly catch my attention. I think I can actually show you. We've got a little thunderstorm now over city of Columbia in South Carolina. And so our friends at WeatherStem have a variety of cameras in the Columbia area. We most often show you the Williams-Brice Stadium one, which is powered by WeatherStem and also South Carolina Educational Television. And so if I can get that one to load on up here, maybe we'll see some of the lightning over the city. I can show that to you here. Thunderstorm now over Columbia, South Carolina. It's not severe. It doesn't even have a severe weather statement or anything with it. But, there's a live look at Williams-Brice Stadium. Just one of the areas, many areas tonight that is probably going to hear a rumble of thunder. If you're the type of person who likes to go to bed with a rumble of thunder in the distance, it could be a good evening for that. Just keep that NOAA weather radio on. Certainly would be helpful. Sharon in comments says that she's having a hard time hearing me. If you guys want to give me a couple other comments, let me know if you want me to turn the mic volume up. I would be happy to do that. Be more than happy to do that. Move my microphone a little bit closer. I'm all ears, no pun intended, if you guys need me to make any adjustments on that. A question on whether or not Greenville is in the clear. So we are still watching in Greenville a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. It has what's called a tornado possible tag on it. We don't have a tornado warning right now, so we don't have any immediate danger associated with the storm in terms of any sort of rotation or any sort of eyeball observation that would prompt the Weather Service to issue the tornado warning. But it is still a severe thunderstorm capable of wind damage, and it still has a history of rotation with it. And so that's why they've got this tornado possible tag on it. It's kind of a precursor. It would be like, hey, no, you should really, really pay attention to this. It's almost so close to the Greer radar, it's almost hard to see. I'm going to switch to the Columbia radar, which means the beam is going to be way up there in the atmosphere, but it'll help me fill in some of the holes. It might have some broad upper level rotation with it, but it's really kind of pushing it in terms of being able to see. And there's really no other radar for me to get a second glimpse at other than with Columbia, because Charlotte's not going to make it, Atlanta's not going to make it, and the mountains are going to prohibit Knoxville from making it. So, well, we're just kind of watching this one as best as we can. It is literally on top of the radar right now. I'm sure the National Weather Service office at the airport feels it. And so I don't have any further messages from them right now, but we have seen from them several messages that have come out. And so I know that they're still active and online. We don't have a tornado warning with it right now, so you don't need to necessarily be in your safe place, but I would be kind of ready to go there in case it is necessary at a moment's notice. Sound is low. All right, let me turn the sound up for you guys. I'm terribly sorry about that. I appreciate you guys letting me know. I think I should be able to hopefully turn it up for you guys. Turn on a couple different things here. Stand by. All right, that'll make me hopefully not too loud. I'm also gonna plug into Ethernet like a good nerd would do instead of using Wi-Fi, and I think that might help my quality of my signal as well too. Hopefully I don't blip as I plug this wire in, but I appreciate you guys being with me here on a Saturday night. I know you probably got lots of other things you could be doing on a Saturday night, but if you're just finding us here in the Carolina Weather Group, welcome, welcome. Give that a second. Hopefully that's a little bit better for you guys. My name is James Brierton. We host a weekly weather podcast Wednesday nights live here on YouTube and on Facebook, and then available wherever it is you listen to audio podcasts. This week's episode is available for you to take a listen to before or after your Sunday activities. We also have on YouTube a streaming Carolina Weather Net, which has live radar, severe thunderstorm, severe warnings, and sky cams. And then whenever we can, especially on a Saturday night when we might be free, we'll hop on and talk to you guys about storms if the situation warrants, which seems to be the case right now. Oh, much better. Thank you guys. My apologies for any earlier difficulties hearing me. Thank you for letting me know. What about Mayo, South Carolina? So Mayo right now, besides having a fabulous name, right there along US 221 in Spartanburg County. Let's see, how do you fit into this? So that's going to be, I think you're still downstream of this. Yeah, you're out here. So you're not in any immediate danger, but certainly worth keeping a close eye on as we go on through the rest of the evening hours. I'm going to stand up if that's cool with you guys. We can see on the screen right now that the severe thunderstorm polygon has gotten smaller. The National Weather Service has trimmed off essentially the all clear area, the backside of that. So the city of Greenville is all clear from this severe thunderstorm warning right now. You probably still have wind and still have some rain, but the most dangerous part of the storm right now is off to the east of Greenville. Again, it is over Greer. Let's see, where are our county lines here? Are we still, so at 10:39, a severe thunderstorm capable remains in effect until 11 o'clock for east central Greenville and northwestern Spartanburg. So we still have a part of both Greenville and Spartanburg counties that are in this warning right now. They just kind of trimmed off the backside of it. So they didn't move it downstream at all. They didn't move it off to the east, but we'll watch to see if they do that. That would be of interest to me. But again, that's still the only warning we have right now in the Carolinas. I have not forgotten about watching these guys here. And again, we've also mentioned more than once, we've got a couple outdoor concert events happening outside in Uptown Charlotte. So while people probably can get rained on, we don't want this lightning to be a problem. This lightning is still about 20 miles away. But as we start to get maybe at about the 10-mile range, I think that will probably make officials a little bit more nervous. Bank of America Stadium and the Love and Life Music Festival are both happening right now. They have their own severe weather policies. I don't know what time those events are scheduled to end, but hypothetically, if they end at 11, the other thing we got to think about is once those people get out of the event, where are they going? Because they're no longer under the jurisdiction of those event organizers, and it's up to you as a human being to get yourself safe. So if you leave the event or the event gets evacuated, you're on your own to find a safe place to go. And so that makes me a little bit nervous because I don't know that all those people are going to know where to go, especially if they traveled in from out of town. So of all of the areas right now that don't have warnings, Charlotte is getting a little extra attention from me because I know they have those outdoor events going on. Philip says, thank God it's going away. Goodbye, tornado. Thank God for angels. Certainly, certainly. Any future path on the York storm and the Greenville storm, says Lisa. So that York storm that I was just mentioning with the lightning associated with it still just has what the Weather Service calls a special weather statement, which is just to give it a little special classification that says they're watching it very closely. It's going to cross the Catawba, and it's going to probably clip here Steel Creek area of Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, the airport, Belmont, areas of Gaston, and other areas of southeastern Gaston County in the next few minutes. So again, we'll have to watch for its impact on these events or for all those spectators who will be leaving, because this is kind of going in this motion. And again, I'm still watching like little areas like that is what makes me nervous in terms of possible tornadic spin up. The storm that was over Chester has now moved into York. This box just needs to go away. And hasn't yet. But now that we get a little bit closer to Charlotte on these storms, Lisa, I can switch on over to the terminal radar at the airport. One of its superpowers is winds. And broadly, there's maybe a little rotation with that. But again, nothing that is screaming to me, and that's good. The path of the Greenville storm, continuing to move off to the east. Nothing on our velocity, our winds, that is screaming any sort of tornadic threat to me right now. And we can actually put storm tracks on these. I don't always love using them because sometimes it's just crazy. But yeah, okay, so more or less you can see these going north and to the east. And so like the north part of this thunderstorm warning will cross into North Carolina at about 11 o'clock. That's going to be Rutherford County. And then you can also see like the portion of the storm right now that's over Simpsonville. That will be, we had a question about Mayo. That'll be to Mayo at about 11:30, but you're going to get other rain out ahead of that too. So we'll watch a close eye on that. You can see by and large, everything's kind of moving here on these little discrete cells. Those are all moving north and to the east. I'm going to turn those off if you don't mind, because those storm tracks are kind of crazy and all over the place. It is of interest to me that we don't have any watches really.
At 10:44 p.m. EDT, Doppler radar was tracking a strong thunderstorm 12 miles southeast of Columbus, or near Lake Bowen.
Yeah, we're going to get a special weather statement on the board here in a second for this portion in Columbus and Tryon, right there at the North Carolina side of that boundary with South Carolina. But what I was starting to say was we don't have any watches. But this blue thing still is that mesoscale discussion where the Weather Service was talking about the watch that they have over over Georgia. That is a severe thunderstorm watch, but it hasn't crept into North Carolina, despite everything that maybe we've seen so far today. I don't think we've seen any watches in the Carolinas, if I'm not mistaken. So you're very welcome. You're very welcome, Lisa. So Alyssa, I should have brought my glasses out, is asking about Columbia, South Carolina. We do have a thunderstorm right now over Columbia. I don't have any threats with it other than lightning. Like, you don't want to be outside. Is easily chillin'. That feels like such a vibe question. I don't know if it was meant that way at all, but yes. So once this line gets past you, you'll be able to have a little bit calmer of an evening. I can actually pull up for you guys Futurecast. Oh, I can hear some thunder here. I'm in Mecklenburg County. I'm in Charlotte, down towards Matthews, which is on the southeast side. So that's where I am. I wanted to pull up, there we go. I wanted to pull up Futurecast. Show you guys what we can maybe expect as we go on through the rest of the night. I'll go ahead and screen share that. I'm going to change over from live radar to the latest run of the HRRR. It's our favorite, really. It comes out every hour. It's pretty accurate. It is high resolution. And so if I drag it so that I'm not blocking it, hey, there we go. You can kind of see, now the first thing I always look at with a Futurecast to determine whether or not it's going to be accurate is, does the Futurecast have a good idea of what's happening right now? So this very first frame should be like now-ish, and it's a little behind. So the timing's a little off, right? Because on this, we can still see that their storms are further off to the west. But then as we go on through the overnight hours, you can still see the rain is persistent. But that line that is coming into South Carolina right now is kind of the back end of this. So easily, yes, you're beginning to chill a bit more. But then you'll see that for the next 18 hours or so, we got to watch this line that is crossing into South Carolina right now, march all the way across the Carolinas and eventually out to sea. And then we might see a few more discrete cells pop back up with the sunshine that we're going to have tomorrow, mostly over central and eastern portions of the Carolinas. You can see it here, say like Raleigh and Fayetteville, maybe down towards Florence, South Carolina. Got to watch those tomorrow. That's where we're going to have, again, a little bit lingering of a severe weather threat as we go on through the day tomorrow. I am most definitely getting thunder here in my portion of Charlotte right now. And so I don't know which storm that was per se, but that was a strange sound. I don't know what that was. Okay, so lightning was detected 25 to 27 miles from me, according to the weather station I have on my roof here. So about 25 to 27 miles from here is going to probably be that same thunder that we're watching coming out of York County, South Carolina. But I'm hearing it pretty good right now. Certainly hearing it pretty good right now. All right, so we do have a couple of new special weather statements, as I told you, just off to the east of Columbus here. They have issued one straddling the North Carolina and the South Carolina line. This is kind of the north end of that severe thunderstorm line that is coming through South Carolina. It's the one that has the severe thunderstorm warning associated with it. It's the same line that for a brief period of time, about the 10 o'clock hour or so, did have a tornado warning associated with it. That's when we began our stream and came on with you. So a special weather statement is just the Weather Service's office's way of saying it's like kind of a strong storm. It's not severe by definition, the definition meaning 60 mile per hour winds or hail of 1 inch size, or about the size of a quarter coin. So we could probably see that we're just below that. We got winds here of about 15 miles an hour or so. We do also have a special weather statement on the south side of our warning. So Fountain Inn in South Carolina, Belton, Princeton. This is just to the east of Anderson. Our main threat right now continues to be the severe thunderstorm warning, which goes for another 9 minutes, which has the tornado possible tag. And that's why we're staying on the stream right now, because we had the tornado warning about 10 o'clock. They transitioned it more or less to a severe thunderstorm warning, but it has a tornado possible tag on it. But I mean, we've got a line of storms. If you were to combine the special weather statement with the severe thunderstorm warning with the other special weather statement, we've got about 60 miles here of very heavy rain. So if you were trying to travel, say, Interstate 85, Interstate 26, this would certainly be impactful to your driving or trying to do anything outside right now. Let's see, we were talking a little bit earlier about outflow boundaries. Do I have any evidence of really cool things happening with outflow boundaries? If you look right here as this rotates through in the town or the city of Due West, you can see, if you weren't with me before, You got the rain, the heavy rain off to the left side of your screen. And then you'll notice kind of this ghostly green line come out of it. That's the outflow boundary. That's the winds out ahead of the storm. And you can kind of see there's this like air gap in between the rain and the outflow boundary where things are relatively clear on radar as opposed to what's happening on the right side of that line. But watch near due west. You can start to see new storms forming up near Ware Shoals and due west. That's kind of what the outflow boundary does. It kind of kicks things up. It's almost like the wake of a boat. It's that, but in the atmosphere. And so, we watch for things like that. We are still in an atmospheric condition right now where things are popping up. So if you look here just to the south and to the east of Lockhart in South Carolina, kind of right where that 9 symbol is, State Route 9, you can watch just in the last couple frames, boop, isolated, small, but new heavy rain has formed. And so we are still watching things generate. Even though it is now almost 11 o'clock at night. So we're still working off a lot of that heat and humidity we had from today. It's been a minute since we did a velocity scan. Taking a look around here again. Nothing imminent in the Charlotte area. Go back to our tornado warning. Now the thing about, severe thunderstorm warning. The thing about the severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado tag on it is I don't see anything that is circulating like a tornadic couplet, but it is doing what severe thunderstorms do. And we can see 45-mile-per-hour winds being detected by the radar. And I mean, these are going to be some of the best wind readings we get from the radar because at this point, the radar's right here. It's a whole 200 feet above the ground. That radar beam comes out, and the radar beam goes level, but the Earth is round. I hope we can all agree on that. And so at a certain point, the ground actually starts curving away from the beam that's going flat. And so that's how your beam starts getting higher and higher. I mean, where I am in Charlotte, my radar is this radar. But by the time it gets to me, it has climbed to at least 5,000 feet up in the air, which means when I'm trying to detect things in the Charlotte area, I'm actually scanning at the lowest level 5,000 feet up in the air, which is a rant for another time, but it's a rant that I have, and you'll hear it. Again, still watching the leading edge of this storm, where it kind of like bows a little bit is where we could potentially get tornadic spin-ups. We don't have any right now. You'll notice that a tan box just appeared. That is a special weather statement. So now we've got a special weather statement to the north and due off to the east. Why is that relevant? Well, if I'm trying to guess what the humans at the National Weather Service are thinking, they may be thinking, okay, instead of dragging this severe thunderstorm warning further off to the east, we can go with the special weather statement for now. That's relatively good news. It means that the storm is being perceived as a little bit weaker, but we're going from a threat of 60-mile-per-hour winds to a threat of 50-mile-per-hour winds. That's not a huge difference to the average person. That's still windy, so it seems like we might not be getting a warning right now for Spartanburg. Doesn't mean they couldn't change their minds, doesn't mean one might not come later, but it seems to me, since they're drawing on more of these special weather statements, that they're not looking right now to extend this severe thunderstorm warning. I'm interpreting. We'll hang on at least another 5 minutes to see what exactly it is that they are doing. Most of us do have a marginal threat as we go on through the rest of tonight into tomorrow. There is a slight risk, 2 out of 5, for certain portions of the CSRA. Those areas would kind of be north of Augusta, right along the Georgia line, essentially between I-20 and I-85. That's where some of the more potent activity has been, and that would be the activity right now that we're kind of watching come out of Athens. So luckily, that's actually in a position where I have Greenville radar, the Columbia radar, and if I really wanted to look at it from the backside, even the Atlanta radar. You can see with the Atlanta radar how far south this goes. We're talking down into Macon and into Columbus, Georgia at the very least, how far down this line of thunderstorms goes right now. And then off on the north side, it's mostly less organized, even once you get into North Carolina. But we'll give this thunderstorm warning another 3 minutes. here on stream with you. I'll check some of your comments and things as we draw closer to the 11 o'clock hour. Oh, hey, I just saw we got a super chat from Twister Titans, $2 super chat. Thank you. From New Jersey, even though you're not in our area. Well, I extra appreciate that tip, that super chat right here on YouTube. From watching afar, really appreciate that. Philip says heavy rain and high shoals. Just heard thunder. Getting some of those rumbles of thunder too. We had a question about Forest City, North Carolina. So that's going to be up here in that Columbus area, Forest City. Yeah, so you haven't gotten the thunderstorm yet. The thunderstorm right now for Forest City is not severe. It's just below those severe limits. You're not in sort of any of these polygons, but you might get a special weather statement. But again, everyone should just be on the lookout tonight for an overachieving thunderstorm or two that could prompt the Weather Service to issue a warning. Again, lightning doesn't get a warning. We're going to get lightning regardless of whether or not there's a warning. Jackie says, I'm in Shelby, North Carolina, tuning in. Hopefully there are no tornadoes. I hope the same. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you for that, Jackie. Nothing like a little content moderation while trying to talk at the same time. Appreciate you guys bearing with me on that. And yeah, I think we're just going to wait to see what comes of this next. So we'll hang on here a couple more minutes and see exactly what is going to be the lay of the land as we draw into the 11 o'clock hour. Appreciate you guys being with me. My name is James Brierton, coming to you from Charlotte, North Carolina. You're watching live severe weather coverage from the Carolina Weather Group. We have a weekly Wednesday night show talking about weather in the Carolinas. We'll talk about science and technology and even sometimes space. And then you'll see us pop on for things like this when storms get going. And for free, we'd love to come and hang out and talk with you. If not, we oftentimes have our Carolina Weather Net. Some of you may have been watching it. Some of you may still be watching it right now, where we stream continuously radar, sky cams, live severe weather notifications, and that sort of thing, even when our humans may not be here. We just got a ton of viewers joining us. Really, really appreciate that. I think that was Titan Tornadoes doing, so thank you again, not only for the super chat, but for the raid. And so we'll say hello to the Anchorman watching from Stanley. Hello in Easley, South Carolina. Sarah there looking for tornadoes. You know, luckily, I think Easley is the reason this stream started about an hour ago, and it seems now that the threat for you guys has really kind of moved off to your east. So, you know, that certainly is good news in Easley. I'm trying to keep up with chat, guys, and I think I've lost that battle. So we're going to continue to watch. We have been watching a severe thunderstorm warning that has now expired for portions of Greenville and Spartanburg counties in South Carolina. So now here at the 11 o'clock hour, we no longer have any warnings in the Carolinas, and I would expect that yellow polygon to drop off in the next few minutes. What I do want to show you guys is a map of all of the verified local storm reports. So you guys probably are very familiar with the fact that the National Weather Service issues warnings around the clock, 24 hours a day, and that is always their first priority. And then what they also are tasked with doing is they are tasked with issuing local storm reports. And what a local storm report is it verifies that there's been some sort of storm damage associated with the storm. They often try to turn these around as quickly as possible because they are super helpful for them to know exactly what is or is not actually happening on the ground with the storm. It's also super helpful for them to get that information out to emergency responders and vice versa. That information will flow back and forth. So let's see if I can get this up on the screen here for you. And these are all of the local storm reports up to the minute that we've had throughout the day. You can also see all of the warnings that have been issued. So like, I mean, forgive me for jumping to Georgia first, right? But you can see all of those tornado warnings that Georgia got, even in just the last couple of hours or so as this system continues to move on through. But let's take you back over to the Carolinas. We can show you we did have a handful of yellow severe thunderstorm warnings that were issued, and only one tornado warning that was in that Easley area. We have no damage associated with that storm. That's certainly good news. We do have a 52-mile-per-hour wind gust that was recorded. We did have a report of some trees down in Waterloo, South Carolina at 2:30 this afternoon. A home along Greenwood Lake near Waterloo sustained damage to siding, patios, furniture, bent flagpoles, and multiple tree limbs associated with some of those storms that we began to see firing up earlier this afternoon. This box is chasing me and will not close. We did also get a line of severe storms come through the Charlotte area at about 5 o'clock. Trees down here in Cramerton, North Carolina, and Gaston. South Park Mall, trees down on utility equipment. That's a very popular area here in the Charlotte metro area. And then also trees down near Croft. That might be on the Cabarrus County side. Let's widen this back out. And you can see we also had probably that same line of storms producing damage in Intelligence, North Carolina. Thunderstorm winds blew down one tree near the 200 block of Bald Hill. So, you know, we'll watch for whatever might be coming next. Where I am in Charlotte, it is now pouring. It is absolutely pouring, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up our outside camera here at the Carolina Weather Group so you can see what it is that I am hearing. We did have a couple rumbles of thunder come on through earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a few more of those, but I'm going to go ahead right now and just show you this is our rooftop camera. And so it kind of points up at the sky, and you can just see those lines streaking across the screen right now. That is, in fact, all rain coming down. Not a ton of wind, because on the right-hand side, kind of where my face is, you can see there's a tree right there, and that tree will dance around when it is real breezy. So right now, the winds are relatively calm with this rain that is falling over portions of South Charlotte. We already have had about 0.4 of an inch of rain here today, and I'm continuing to hear lightning rumbling off in the distance. The closest to me now is about 4 to 7 miles away. And so we do now have lightning that is generating and striking here in South Charlotte. And I've mentioned multiple times, and I'll mention again here as we draw to the 11 o'clock hour, we have multiple outdoor events happening in the Charlotte area right now. I don't know their exact schedules. I don't know exactly when they let out for the evening, whether they're still going on or not, but that, you know, does slightly concern me. We've got Kendrick Lamar playing Bank of America Stadium, home of the Carolina Panthers. We also have the Love and Life Music Festival. Those are both outdoors in Uptown Charlotte, just blocks away from each other. And whether they're still in session or they're going to be letting out here shortly, that's a lot of people that are going to have to find shelter if this lightning gets any closer. Because again, we've got lightning here now in the Ballantyne area. We got lightning over here in the Mint Hill area. And we have this storm that we have been watching coming out of York County. Doesn't have a severe warning with it right now. That polygon you see on the screen is the special weather statement, and this does include now portions of Uptown Charlotte, winds gusting to 40 mile per hour, pea-sized hail. So this will now be coming into portions of Charlotte, including Freedom Park, Charlotte Douglas International Airport, Tega Cay, Steel Creek, Carowinds the Amusement Park, Lake Wiley, South Park Mall, and Pineville. It doesn't say Uptown, but I mean, there's Uptown. That polygon is right, is right there. So we will keep a very close eye on that because we've seen some lightning with it. I had been watching that storm carefully for the possibility that it could begin to rotate. I don't see anything right now that is screaming tornadic rotation, so that is good news. But is that lightning threat that is going to be most common for all those people who are going to be leaving venues and trying to get someplace safe. It is absolutely pouring where I am right now. Okay, we also had a question about Columbia. So that little thunderstorm that formed north of Columbia before is continuing to move off to the north and the east over Blythewood, Ridgewood here, the I-77 corridor. Lots of lightning with this storm. Again, just a special weather statement, maybe 1/4 inch size hail, maybe 50 mile per hour winds, fairly small and isolated, has that special weather statement associated with it. At 11:06, we don't have any warnings to tell you about right now, just special weather statements. I know a couple of you right now are watching from North Carolina along US 74, whether that's Rutherford or Cleveland County. I know we had a comment about Forest City earlier. We do have some lightning now that is a part of this line of storms that is moving off to the east. Again, about 50-mile-per-hour winds. Wouldn't be surprised if they extend that special weather statement back off to the east as this continues to move in that direction. Special weather statement here for 50-mile-per-hour winds. Again, the threshold for a severe thunderstorm warning is 60-mile-per-hour winds. 50-mile-per-hour is just below the threshold, but it's enough for the National Weather Service to say, hey, this storm is something special, and we're keeping a very close eye on it. They have reissued the special weather statement, as we saw, for that thunderstorm cell near Lake Wylie. It is tracking into southwestern Mecklenburg County. The National Weather Service agrees with what we just saw, which is has some weak rotation aloft. So not enough right now to issue any sort of tornado warning or anything, but enough that they're keeping a very close eye on it. We have a very special tool here at the Carolina Weather Group. It allows us to talk to the National Weather Service internally and kind of know what they're looking at. It's a two-way conversation, so we're able to tell them what we're seeing, and they're able to tell us what they're seeing. It's a very helpful tool. And so we are privileged to be able to kind of keep an eye on that. We do know that they are issuing additional special weather statements. I still have, you might be able to hear the bot that we use on the Carolina WeatherNet that reads off warnings is still playing in the background. And so that is currently speaking, and you might be able to hear that back through my microphone as well too. Faith is asking about Union County, and she specifically mentions Unionville in Monroe. So Faith, I presume we're talking about Union County, North Carolina. Why anyone in their right mind had the idea to put Union County, North Carolina and Union County, South Carolina relatively close together, I will never know. But you and I are both probably listening to the rumble of thunder that continues to increase right now just to north of Unionville, because here is Unionville, and we know you guys have seen at least one tornado this year already, but we're getting lots of lightning right now up right along that county line. So Henby Bridge, Fairview, up towards Mint Hill. This thunderstorm, I would say here between Union County and Mecklenburg, based on the lightning alone, is growing stronger. As I put the radar back into rotation, you can see more lightning strikes are generating in the last couple of minutes or so. That kind of gives us an idea that that storm is healthy in terms of strength atmospherically. Doesn't have any warnings right now. It doesn't have a special weather statement with it right now. I would say there are other areas of Union County, depending on where you are maybe watching from, that are dry and not getting any of this heavy rain that is falling. But I can tell you right now from firsthand experience that this rain that is falling here is producing rainfall rates pretty high, because we started the top of the hour at 0.4 of an inch of total rainfall that had fallen in my corner of the world, which is what I just circled, and we're now up to 0.7. So we got 0.3 of an inch of rain in the last 10 minutes. And so that is quite a lot of rain coming down relatively quickly here. And some of you might be seeing that here or elsewhere as well too. How is it looking for Lexington, North Carolina, and a few? Lexington, North Carolina, I just want to make sure I am or am not confusing it with the county. Okay, it's exactly where I thought it was. Yeah, you guys will probably see a little bit more of this in the late night hours. By the time we get to the late night hours, we'll have less energy left in the atmosphere. So what we're working off of right now is everything that's kind of left over from the hot day that we had. That sun really cooks things up, but it's holding on. It's holding on quite well. This is a lot of activity on the screen right now for 11 o'clock at night. Luckily, we don't have a lot of severe weather warnings. If you're just joining me here at 11 p.m. on this Saturday, May 3rd, the title of this video is, or was for a moment of time, tornado warnings in the Carolinas. And that was true. We came on at 10 o'clock because Easley, South Carolina had a thunderstorm with rotation. They issued a tornado warning on it. And so we're lucky right now that at this particular moment in time, we don't have any tornado warnings, we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings, but we've got enough players on the board that the National Weather Service has issued some of these special weather statements. The big arm of the National Weather Service still has us inside this blue box that essentially tells us they're keeping a close eye on us. I'm getting a new storm report in right now. So we got wind gusts measurement in Greenville, South Carolina that just came in. Let me see if I can get that on our map here, because that will help us understand exactly what some of the wind is happening where you guys are, of course, down on the ground where this is all actively playing out. And so again, we'll wait to see. That should populate here for us in the next minute or two on the screen as the Weather Service continues to verify those storm reports. A few moments ago on stream, we read some of the ones from earlier in the day, and there's now getting a chance to update and catch up with some of those. So, you know, the one we had, 52-mile-per-hour wind gusts here, we'll watch for another icon like that to appear over Greenville in the next few minutes. I am still worried about the lightning threat, the heavy rain threat coming into Charlotte, because it's not going to take much to make a really bad night for some of these folks who might be leaving some of these events and some of these venues. What am I talking about? Well, we have a weather stem camera that is at Bank of America Stadium here in Charlotte. Bank of America Stadium is home to the Carolina Panthers. It's also home tonight to a Kendrick Lamar concert. And so we can actually see that while things I think are relatively dry there, maybe starting to get some rain here falling again. Let's see if people are still in the stadium. It might have been that at 11 o'clock. Yes. Okay, so I can tell you right now, I'm still working on getting the camera up so that you can see it. But the lights are on at Bank of America Stadium and the stands are empty. And that brings me great relief. I suspect, given how far away the lightning still is, I bet you that concert ended in time for an 11 o'clock, probably like noise curfew. So the good news is the stadium's empty. The double-edged sword to that is, where did all those people go? Because sometimes it's better to be in a venue, not in your seat, but like in a corridor, rather than out and about, because those people now may be heading for trains or cars, and they may be more exposed than had they been inside. So I can't say for sure. I couldn't get the Bank of America camera to come on up, but we do have another camera from WCCB television along Independence Boulevard Expressway there that's looking back towards the city. You would never know it if you've never seen it before, but there's supposed to be a skyline there. You can kind of see the little pink part sticking out. The cloud deck is just so low that it's really hard to see. We'll come back to this camera when we get a little bit closer to with these storms coming through, because maybe we'll be able to catch some lightning from that storm. Pulling out, I am continuing to see quite a bit of lightning with a lot of these storms. We did get that local storm report verified here. National Weather Service employee in Greenville did write in to say that they had severe wind gusts observed. And unless I'm crazy, I don't see a number on that. No, magnitude is blank. So they're just windy gusts. They had windy gusts, and that was at 10:30. It just came in now, but it occurred at 10:30. So, I mean, I appreciate it, and also I would have loved to have known what that number was. Well, you know what? We can kind of know what that number was, because the National Weather Service is at GSP Airport. And so if I were just to go to the airport obs right now in Greer, upstate South Carolina, northwest winds at 14, gusting to 24 miles an hour. But I have seen wind gusts as high as 24 miles an hour. Visibility is down to 2.5 miles. That's going to disrupt flights that might be happening on this late Saturday night. That's the latest we got from there. I'm going to venture back into chat. I appreciate all you guys subscribing and chatting with us here. Fancy that does say hitting us in Rutherford County. Yep, certainly is. You can see that up here. For anybody who's not familiar with it, that is going to be on your screen right now. There it goes. And we know another viewer in Forest City. INFP me. I'm Not sure what that means. With a super chat of $1.99. Good job, James, they write. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the emoji as well, too. Appreciate you being with us here on this Saturday night and spending some time with us here on the Carolina Weather Group. Question about Huntersville. So Huntersville, kind of in that same Charlotte area, we'll watch some of these storms come on through. No one's got a warning right now. No one's got a warning. We need 60-mile-per-hour winds or 1-inch size hail the size of a quarter coin in order to get a warning. But we don't have any of that right now. So, Alex says that Alex is in Mecklenburg County in Charlotte, just west of those storms in Union County, and it's electrical. Yes, certainly is. Convection seems to be growing. Yeah, so Alex has hit the nail right on the money. And we play the radar back again. You can continue to see all those lightning strikes that are still firing up with that storm right now. So Indian Trail, Weddington, Matthews, Fairview, Mint Hill, coming into Locust. Yeah, we got a pretty good thunderstorm. Again, not severe, but I wouldn't be outside. You might be inside watching it safely from wherever is comfortable for you to do so, so that you can continue to stay safe during this severe weather that we are tracking here on this Saturday night. I am James Brierton in Charlotte, North Carolina with you, keeping an eye on North Carolina and South Carolina as part of live streaming coverage on the Carolina Weather Group here on this Saturday night. It's so great to have so many of you with us, and I think so many new viewers as well too. It's really cool to have you here with us, and we're just watching to see if we happen to get any additional warnings out from the hardworking meteorologist at the National Weather Service. We know that is something that could still occur as we go on through the next couple of hours. It's been a minute since we talked about what you can expect kind of just holistically tonight and tomorrow. So let me go ahead and pop up for you the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center Outlook. We talk about these all the time. It's tiers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you can see here, we'll go ahead and we'll set this to our region, and we can kind of get an idea of what we can expect between now and 8 a.m. And so you can see here that we are in mostly a marginal threat. That is a tier 1 out of 5. That is that dark green that is on the screen. But you can see there are some portions of the CSRA right along the Georgia and South Carolina line that is at that slight risk, 2 out of 5 yellow. That will probably come down here in the next hour or so. That's for the line of storms that's moving on through right now. And if we jump ahead to tomorrow, and this would essentially be after 8 a.m., you can see that that threat moves to a marginal risk over portions of central and eastern North Carolina and South Carolina, including the coast. That'll be for the line that's coming through right now. It's going to make its way over to the coast, and we'll also be watching for additional afternoon showers and thunderstorms that could pop up really anywhere tomorrow, but the best chance of seeing them will actually be back across that I-95 corridor. Lo and behold, the tornadic threat is fairly low. It's about 2 to 4%. You can see it there in the center of your screen right now. It's mostly just over South Carolina. It's never zero, never zero. Most of us are watching for a wind threat that you can see right there on the screen. Again, kind of on the lower threshold. And severe hail as well too. Wind, again, 60 miles per hour is what we need. Quarter-size hail. We've had some overachieving hail here in the Carolinas so far this spring, like hail of 2 inches, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, and that's enough to cause damage. That is enough to hail size, magnitude, if you will, to cause damage. So those are the type of things that we keep a really close eye out for, especially. But you know, I think most of us probably are not looking forward to seeing hail one way or the other. Vicky says rumble of thunder lasted about a minute ago. Tigerville, South Carolina. Appreciate that report. Let's see what we got here. Jay, good to have you with us tonight. Jay is a longtime watcher of the Carolina Weather Group. Central South Carolina, North Carolina used to have a slight risk, but it recently got downgraded to a marginal. So the trade-off with that is, despite the downgrade, there's a new 2% tornado risk. So yes, certainly aligns with some of those maps. Those were the new maps we were just showing you. Appreciate that context. Appreciate the conversations you guys are having as well too. Here with us on YouTube, where a lot of you guys have been chatting. I will let you know, if you're new to the chat, that even when I inevitably at some point sign off, our Carolina WeatherNet will carry you through the overnight hours with live radar, sky cams, and alerts all throughout the overnight hours. And so that will help you keep an eye on things as well too. But we'll stick it out here a little bit longer and see. These storms will certainly, they're achieving quite well for 11:20 at night. And so I'm going to go ahead, guys, and slow the chat down here a little bit, so that it maybe is a little bit more of an enjoyable chat experience for you all. But I do appreciate everyone who's writing in to talk to us tonight about the weather. That is quite helpful. Do appreciate that very much, or so. And I know many of you probably might be joining us for the first time. We've got a couple of super chats. I mentioned Twister Titans earlier on, and I should mention we have two from INFP Me. So I appreciate both of those. I think I maybe only mentioned the one. So do appreciate that. You know, the support for our show, whether it's here on YouTube with Super Chats or memberships or Patreon, they help go to make this happen. The lights, the software, so that we could just give you guys the best show possible. And if you like what you have here tonight, I hope you'll come back on Wednesday night when we talk more weather, science, and technology for our weekly show. These storms right here, just off of I-77 north of Columbia, they're going to be coming into Lancaster County, South Carolina. Well, I guess they kind of already have, but they're kind of just hugging right off here to the east side of the I-77 corridor. They're coming straight out of Columbia, probably up, what do I got here, 221? 521, US 521 here. South of the city of Lancaster. So Springdale, Heath Springs, Kershaw. I mean, look at all this lightning right now we're getting in Jefferson. Let's go into advanced mode. You guys ready for advanced mode? I'm going to go ahead and put 4 boxes on the screen. And so what we're going to be looking at here with these 4 boxes that are on the screen is we're just going to kind of do our own lay of the land survey. And what we're going to be looking at in the top left is rain. In the top right is wind. That's where we'll look for possible tornadoes. We have hail over here in the bottom left, and I can actually, I think, switch this to a derived digital vertically integrated liquid. And then we do have CC in the bottom right. I don't think we're going to need that right now, because that would be kind of a tornado product. So I'll put my face over there. How's that sound? So all 4 boxes are looking at the same geographical location. And we're just kind of looking for where things add up or don't add up. Circling a little rotation we can see here in the Fort Mill area, South Carolina, from the Greenville-Spartanburg radar. I can cross-reference that with our terminal Doppler radar. Again, we are still kind of seeing some broad rotation at the end of that little thunderstorm there, which is possible that that would be where it would try to spin up on the bottom side of that. Let me switch back over to GSP's radar and make our way over here towards Rutherford County. I'm not seeing anything in terms of rotation. I mean, we do certainly have gusty winds, right? So Mooresboro, Boiling Springs, maybe 40 mile per hour winds here with this storm. You know, that's enough. If you're laying down in bed and all of a sudden you hear, clattering at your window, is going to be noticeable. Making my way into upstate South Carolina. I don't see anything tornadic. That's certainly good. We have some small hail in the bottom left. That's maybe pea size if it's reaching the ground. But nothing is screaming at me. And then let's switch to the Columbia radar, where we can get a little bit better perspective on this storm right now that does have a special weather statement for it. This is the one we were talking about just a moment ago. This is a strong thunderstorm will impact portions of Fairfield and Lancaster, Richland, and Kershaw counties through 11:45 p.m. Eastern time. 50-mile-per-hour winds, pea-size hail is how the National Weather Service classifies it, and it's moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. Doing our own little radar analysis here, you can see, if you look in the bottom left with me, we are getting hail right now falling between Blythewood and Elgin. That is probably enough hail being detected there by radar that is reaching the ground. Not sure what this crossroad is. I would love to know that. And then let's see what the hail is. Yeah, we're getting probably pea-sized hail with some of these other little storms out there right now. But the good news is I don't see any large hail. I don't see anything really rotating. And I think we're getting to the point where our events in Charlotte are going to be winding down as well too. So I think that's all good news. I'm going to take a moment now to come over here and check in with our National Weather Service chat. At 11:26, the National Weather Service said, watching new cell east of Rock Hill, South Carolina. I think, if I'm not crazy, new cell east of Rock Hill. I thought it was going to be this guy. I think it might still be that guy that he's talking about. So again, if you're just joining us, we can actually see in a chat room with the Weather Service some preliminary things that haven't gone out to the broad public yet. Different Weather Service offices do it a little bit differently. I love the National Weather Service office in Greenville, Spartanburg. It's my home office here. They are very chatty, but in a good way. They tell us what it is that they're watching and looking at, and it's a two-way. So we can tell, certainly if I saw something right now and I thought that they maybe didn't see it for some reason, I would shout back too. I think this is what he's talking about. I mean, it's technically north of our Rock Hill label. We've got a camera here. Let's urgently get over to the WeatherStem camera that is in Rock Hill, South Carolina, powered by South Carolina Educational Television. It's really kind of almost in Fort Mill looking south. I went out to the installation of this camera, and so I have a vague idea of where it actually is in real life, and it will help us kind of get a realistic view as to what is happening out in the world right now. So you can see that on your screen. I don't expect to see a tornado. I'm not saying there is one, but if there was one, I don't know that I would be able to really see it. But this has such good urban lighting that you can kind of see that cloud deck there. And so it's possible that if there was something to see, we might be able to see something if it happened to be really close to this camera. But again, this isn't Kansas. This isn't Oklahoma. That dark area, that's trees. So we can't see for forever, and it's nighttime. Can I put this in a box and also still have my radar up? I can, but it's going to take me a minute to program that, because I think that is what we would want to keep a close eye on. So let's see if we can pull that off. This is probably the most interesting thing we've seen in a hot minute, but I will tell you on the very last radar scan that just came in, it's looking less interesting than it did. So let's go ahead and get this up on the screen for you so you can see it along with me. We will go and do that right now. Because I don't want to lose the camera and I don't want to lose the ability to have radar. I want both of those things. I'm selfish like that. Add in an extra viewpoint here. Oh. This is only going to work if you lose me. And you know what? That's fine. No one needs to see me right now. Is how I feel about it. All right, so let's go to the terminal Doppler radar. Zoom on in. Terminal Doppler radar doesn't have the full suite of everything that a real radar has, but it is really good at winds. And so I think this is what they're looking at here. You kind of see it. It kind of comes like right on through here. We're looking at that like red area kind of embedded inside all of these green areas. That's what I think the Weather Service and I have been watching. The last couple radar scans, it gets harder to see. It begins to dissipate. I don't even know if it's there now at all. But we will see. Yeah, I can tell you Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich at WCNC is watching it. We're all watching rotation at about 10,000 feet up in the air. But we're not really seeing rotation down at the ground. I mean, the nice thing of that terminal Doppler radar you're looking at right now is it's only about... This radar is looking about 700 feet up in the air because it's at the airport. Now, the problem is there's all these other thunderstorms in the area, and those airport radars, they're called terminal Doppler radars, don't do great when other rain is in the area. It's like getting radio interference when you're driving down the highway on your AM or FM. So if you look at the Greenville-Spartanburg radar, you can see that same area for a couple frames here, south of Indian Hook, where the red and the green kind of come together. But that's what Brad and the Weather Service are agreeing is really at like at least 4,000 feet up in the air. So, I mean, the good news is it's up in the sky, everything we're looking at. It's not down at the ground. But that is why I want to keep a really close eye on this camera. And if I look again on radar, oh, it's like maybe right on top of the interstate right now. Okay, I'm also going to switch the camera out for an interstate camera because we have those here in this neck of South Carolina. I mean, it's literally on top of the radar in the latest scan we're seeing. So it was probably, if anything was rotating above the interstate, it was probably rotating there a minute or two ago. Let me stop this and see. Okay, I-77 and South Carolina 160. There are no warnings. We don't have confirmation of anything actually happening right now. But it's, you know, the thing that we're watching right now because there was some rotation up there in the atmosphere. Okay, there that camera is playing now. You can see it's a construction zone. And we're getting a new special weather statement in on this. I'll show you on the radar here in just a second. But that is the spot where everyone on the weather side of things is watching possible rotation above the ground. The National Weather Service will issue a tornado warning if we think there's something on the ground, which at this point we don't think that. But I would say that if you were in the path of this, York County, Lancaster, Mecklenburg, especially on the south side of Mecklenburg, you know, just kind of be ready in case you had to go to your safe place. So what areas am I talking about? So let me show you on radar where they just issued this special weather statement, because this special weather statement, you know, it's listed for 50-mile-per-hour winds, but based on everything we know so far too, it's kind of for, you know, the possible rotation. So you can see right now on your screen that special weather statement. And so those are all the areas of people who I would say, hey, if you're heading to bed for some reason right now, like make sure you got to work in NOAA weather radio, because if they were to issue a warning, we need to be able to quickly move to our safe place in South Charlotte. So South Park, Independence, Albemarle, Matthews, Stallings, Indian Trail, Weddington, Ballantyne, Pineville. Those are the areas we got to watch this carefully. There's a really annoying cutout right here where you can see the polygon jets up and back down. Ignore that. This is a dumb political boundary, not political as in Democrats and Republicans, but political as in maps, political map boundary. This should just go straight on through here. So that does include this little peninsula area of Lancaster County. If you're near like Red Ventures, if you're near the Lows, consider you're in this special weather statement right now. And we also urgently want to know if you're getting any storm reports. The rotation is much more broad there than it had been. The recent observations still kind of show some low-level shear and helicity, but it's weaker than it has been. And so that is certainly some good news. And so the National Weather Service has purely issued a special weather statement for this storm. But that is like one of the best areas of possible rotation we have seen in the course of the last 30 or 45 minutes or so. The other area right now is probably out here in Union County, South Carolina, where we're at least getting winds starting to push that severe threshold. 55 mile per hour radar indicated winds. The city of Union, 50 mile per hour. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we at least get a severe thunderstorm warning with that. Maybe as we go on through the next few minutes or so. So, you know, we'll keep an eye on these quad boxes we've got for you up. Again, we don't have any warnings. No one needs to run to their safe place right now, but if, you know, given the hour of the night, if you are getting ready to go to sleep, I just really want to let you know what's going on and what could be coming downstream so that you have time to make sure that as you're laying down, you've got some way to get severe weather warnings as we go on through the next couple hours or so, because there's the possibility that we get a nighttime tornado warning with these. I will say for peace of mind, the National Weather Service has filled in that annoying gap that did exist between York County, Mecklenburg County, Union County, and initially excluded Lancaster County, South Carolina. Here's the 10-second version. It's two different Weather Service offices. So Weather Service office in Greenville-Spartanburg has to coordinate with the Weather Service office in Columbia in order to make this whole polygon whole. It's dumb. And I hate it because no matter how fast they do it, there's always a delay. So there's that. But it'd be real interesting to know what's really happening on the ground. So yeah, Michael Johnson, they just filled in the gap nice. Yeah, they did. They filled it in. But why does this gap even exist in the first place? Okay, all right, I'm moving on. So check in chat here to see, I don't know if any of you guys are watching from that area, if you know anything that might be going on. Could it be a rain-wrapped tornado, Jackie asks. It could be. I think we have the peace of mind right now that we have the terminal Doppler radar, which really helps us see really low to the ground. But it's still possible, yes. And so, I mean, that's why I'm like putting all my emphasis in this bucket right now. Oh, Mary says, where are the alerts? I've not heard one. So when I'm talking, Mary, the automated alerts are not being read out onto the stream, but if I were to go to bed, the automated alerts would come back on. I am your automated alert. So. We don't have any warnings right now. So, question, is there a polygon box still over Camden, and may I go to bed? So Camden, South Carolina, right? So the polygon box for Camden, I don't know why I looked that one up other than I'm getting sleepy because I know where Camden is. So here's what I would say.
Special weather statement.
You're technically outside of the special weather statement. Special weather statement, in my eyes, doesn't preclude you from going to bed. I just want you to be able to get a warning if one were to come out. Special weather statement is just kind of like, hey, we're watching the storm. It's a pretty good thunderstorm. Really, I take special weather disturbance as peace of mind, because as a normal human being, if I hear lightning and thunder, then I want to know that the weather service is watching that same storm. So that storm near Camden does have quite a bit of lightning with it right now. But in terms of wind and hail, so not much in that Camden storm. It's not really even a Camden storm. Now we did get a special weather statement just read off. I can still hear our little bot working in the background. I think he was just reading to me the little gap filler. All right, what about, where did those winds go that I was looking at in, I thought it was Union. Yeah, I don't really see him now. Oh, well, I'm on the Columbia radar. Union, South Carolina. Yeah, okay. See, like, this guy in the top right, he's strongish. I think right now our threat from this little storm south of Charlotte coming out of Rock Hill seems to have come down, which I think is great news. Fayetteville, North Carolina is quiet. Yes, for now. During the overnight and early mornings, you might hear a couple rumbles of thunder. I do have a report coming in from Fort Mill near Lancaster County. Windy, nervous. Please send info. So you're in the right place. I understand why you feel nervous. You're already doing everything you're supposed to be doing. You are staying informed because we are tapped right into the National Weather Service, and if they needed to upgrade anything to a warning, I could tell you as soon as they do that. So give yourself some credit and some peace of mind for that. It is certainly windy and rainy. We were watching a little area of kind of broad, high-level rotation that was coming out of Fort Mill and Rock Hill, but I don't really see it anymore. And if you're just joining me, let me put this back to one single view and kind of again show you what we were watching. You guys can see that purple on the screen right here. That's like the outer reach of the usability of the National Service radar from Greenville. It really drops off by the time we get to Mecklenburg. It's a rant. I've probably exceeded my rants for tonight. But we were watching where the greens and the reds come together. It was definitely right on in there. You can see it south of TK, north of Rock Hill, coming into Fort Mill. This is in a replay mode, so this was about 20 minutes ago. And it is quite broad right now. What is happening right now is that I'm really kind of just limited to the terminal radar. That area of rotation that is not very prominent anymore is over 485, Carmel Commons, South Charlotte, Ballantyne area. I mean, let me put it to you this way. I've already kind of given you guys the hint that I live down in this area. I'm not moving to my safe place right now. There's no warning. I don't see anything rotating on radar that would even preclude me to start waking up my family. But it's still broadly there, kind of over that Pineville area. This is that same little rotation that kind of came up right through here and kind of went that way. So we're keeping a very close eye on it, just to see if that does anything. Question for the Tallahassee weather forecast. If that's Tallahassee, Florida, I will have to politely refer you to someone who covers Florida. We are sticking to the Carolinas here. Has it passed Forest City yet? Please and thank you. I know you've been with us for quite some time, so we'll use that as an opportunity to zoom on out. We do have a fresh lightning strike near Forest City. Yes, the heaviest rain has passed Forest City. So the heaviest rain would be this in here that is moving off to the east. It's certainly still raining where you are in Forest City, but I think you are good to go to bed, Forest City. The heaviest of the rain is moving off to your east. We're watching right now the heaviest of that rain from Hickory, Shelby, Gaffney, Union, Carlisle, Newberry, McCormick. It's kind of, this is our main player. And then we do have some little isolated, discrete things out ahead of it. Everything else back here, as much as I'd love for you to hang out with us, you may go to bed. I am drawing in the go to bed zone. So this is our line of storms, and it is pushing off that way. We came on the air tonight at 10 o'clock because we had a tornado warning. That tornado warning has now since expired, has been expired for about an hour or so. And we're watching some of these other severe storms that are rolling through the area. So Anderson, South Carolina, you're good now. John Joe, you're watching from Ballantyne. Stay with us, John Joe. We're watching what was a broad area of rotation. I don't see it cleanly on radar anymore. That's good news. If I did, I would certainly be jumping up and down. But not much to see right there. Both National Weather Service offices in Greenville, Spartanburg, and Columbia are both watching the same cell. The rotation was quite strong aloft, which means up in the atmosphere, but it was never really strong or indicating down at the surface. So that is certainly, part of the process we watch for. Jacksonville, what's Jacksonville got going on? Jacksonville, North Carolina? I hope that's Jacksonville, North Carolina. I think you're quiet right now. Tomorrow, yeah, you'll have to watch for a few things tomorrow. We literally only have storms in central and western, including central and western North Carolina and central and upstate South Carolina right now. The only polygons on the board right now are for that thunderstorm that was trying to rotate coming out of York County and into Mecklenburg County. That was a special weather statement. Again, it's not a warning. I know you guys are probably used to seeing polygons for warnings. It's not a warning. It's just kind of a special alert. It'd be bottom of the priority list in terms of things I would scream about. But I just kind of want to give this a couple more radar frames to see what becomes of this as we come up on about the 2-hour mark of our stream. My name is James Brierton, streaming with you from Charlotte and covering across the Carolinas. We are a weekly weather podcast Wednesday nights talking about weather, science, technology, and more across the Carolinas, and then get cool opportunities like this on a Saturday night to come hang out with you guys and talk about weather. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and I hope you will, as silly as it sounds, subscribe so we can hang out again sometime in the future. We do now have a new special weather statement that has been issued. This is for portions of York, Chester, Union, and, I should know this one, Cherokee, South Carolina. So special weather statement, just again, is a special area that the Weather Service is watching. It has not met the criteria for a warning. The criteria for a warning is a tornado, 60-mile-per-hour winds, or 1-inch size hail. It means we don't have that, but we do have 40-mile-per-hour winds. And so this area, the National Weather Service has just boxed in with a special weather statement. Let's read it together. Strong thunderstorm will impact Chester, southwestern York, southeastern Cherokee, and northeastern Union counties through at 12:15 a.m. National Weather Service is tracking a strong thunderstorm along the line extending 11 miles northeast of Union, South Carolina, 15 miles southwest of Chester, moving east at 40 miles an hour. That's actually slightly faster. I thought we were doing 30 with some of these storms, so this main line may be going a little bit faster. We were watching for gusty winds. Chester State Park, Leeds, York, Cornwall, Bollock Creek, Sharon, Carlisle, Chester, and Lockhart. Those are areas we'll have to watch for. Conditions are favorable for the development of a very brief and weak tornado. Those things could come with any of these thunderstorms tonight. We have about a 1 or 2% chance of seeing a tornado. It's relatively low, but it's more than the usual night. No tornado warnings right now to talk about, just purely these special weather statements. And so We're watching what essentially are special weather statements with tornado possible tags. And so that's why the National Weather Service has issued that special weather statement. That storm there over York, Chester, Cherokee, and Union counties in South Carolina does too have some weak circulation with it aloft. When it collided with an outflow boundary with storms out ahead of it, it gave it a little spin. Sorry, that was louder than I meant it to be. But just, you know, two things kind of collided there in the atmosphere and they spun up. They spun up. It kind of reminds me of those like pinwheel toys. I don't know what those were called. You would rub your hands together and the little stick would spin on out. Somebody in the chat will know what I'm talking about. But no warnings to tell you about right now. So welcome to all of our weather nerds. I see you there, Jared. So very cool. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's see if we can see. Can we see those outflow boundaries colliding? Maybe. Which one are they talking about? So one area where I'm seeing outflow boundaries colliding is if I put this back into motion, watch near Hickory Grove. Watch in this space here, okay? So outflow boundaries are winds that push out ahead of the thunderstorm. They are kind of like wakes of a boat, if the boat is the thunderstorm. And when two wakes collide, you get big ripples. And the same thing here in the atmosphere. And so what we can see is those outflow boundaries kind of push together and then kind of form one big storm. Is essentially what kind of happened. And I think that's a little bit what they're talking about. You can kind of see almost there an air gap there between the storm that was kind of coming out of Gaffney and Jonesville and the storm that's coming out of Hickory Grove. These two things, that is the worst arrow I've ever drawn. These two things kind of pushed together and then that kind of bubbled up into a bigger storm. Outflow boundaries will do that. They certainly will. It's a good cheat code. If you want to know where storms are going to be, watch the outflow boundaries. Our velocity will help us understand what little rotation the Weather Service is seeing. Yeah, so we were also looking at this at about the 11:30 mark, right? So we've got this line here, but it kind of goes like this, and then it kind of goes like this, and then it kind of goes like this. That's where little tornadoes might happen. And so that was 11:30. It just jumped ahead, and we're still kind of watching a few areas where it's jagged. Nothing tornadic is screaming at me, so that's good. What are you up to, little thunderstorm that kind of really got my attention for a hot minute there? York into Mecklenburg. I don't really see any rotation with you at all anymore, so that's kind of good. But man, look at these winds over Sharon, South Carolina. Yeah, 58 miles per hour in Sharon, South Carolina. I mean, like, we're real close to needing a severe thunderstorm warning on that. There is a slight hook on radar, somebody is telling me, near Quail Hollow. Please look at that. All right, let's look. Let's look. Okay, I'm going to put this in dual mode. Rain is on the left. Wind is on the right. I'm looking from the terminal radar. Okay. Talking about this? Yeah. Yeah. I would put it in the worth watching camp, but I was hoping for a couple more velocity scans as I went backwards. It's not nothing. Oh, this is where I wish we had an 88D closer to Charlotte. I would really love another opinion, a full-powered opinion and not just a terminal. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Starting to get some lightning here. It's going to be coming up on Bojangles Coliseum camera. Might as well pull that up. Have that at the ready. I don't think it's going to help us with the is anything rotating game. But we might get lightning. And, you know, that's something. So, you know, here is that WCCB camera again, right over there near Bojangles. Normally you can see a skyline, but no skyline for you tonight. Not from that vantage point, at least. Someone needs to close the radar gap. Yes, yes, they do. That would be lovely. That would be absolutely lovely. Somebody says there's no sound. I assume the rest of you have sound because I think you're interacting with me. Be Kind was looking at Park and Sharon at about 11:45. Thanks for taking a closer look. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will gladly take an extra set of eyes. You guys just stick with me on that skyline cam there for a second. I'm going to go back to 11:45. Park and Sharon. Clearly a bunch of charlatans talking to each other. If you've never been to Charlotte, guys, we have all these roads named Sharon, and they intersect each other. It's very annoying. It's kind of like Atlanta has Peachtree. Yeah, I'm going to be very curious in daylight to know whether anybody in York or Mecklenburg finds damage. But I know we got some best eyes in the business looking at this right now, and I think it's okay. Oh, there's a lightning strike. All right, so that's the lightning strike that we just observed from the WCCB WeatherStem camera here. This is in East Charlotte. We are looking north, essentially from Bojangles Coliseum. Park Road Expo parking lot is like literally down there with all those lights on it. The skyline would normally be dead center, but it's not there, and we're getting lightning right now. So that is lightning associated with the thunderstorm that we've been watching for a hot minute. I'm going to still keep this in dual mode. But you can see that lightning strike that we just saw on camera was probably this one right here. Was really close to our WeatherStem camera. Put the WeatherStem cam back on the screen, and I can actually pull up the actual weather unit that WeatherStem has installed, and I bet you it'll give me an actual, like, how far away was that lightning strike from this WeatherStem station? Oh, 0.65 miles. That is not far at all. A couple of you are saying no sound, but enough of you are saying sound that I think there is sound. All right, I'm not seeing anything rotating, just a lightning show. Switch back over to radar so you guys don't feel like we're only staring at an empty sky. Still have this in dual panel mode, so the geography on the left is the same as the right. Winds coming back into poor city of York. 57 miles per hour. I mean, will we get a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of York County here? I mean, maybe. And that's the terminal. GSP's radar still has at least 50. What we got going on up here, Cherville? You guys in the Cherville camp, or is it Cherryville? I've always been told it's Cherville. Appreciate everyone confirming you can hear me. I do appreciate that. I apologize to the couple people who can't hear me, which means they can't hear me apologizing to them. I don't really know if there's 60 mile per hour winds in Cherville. What do you got for me? Terminal? 35? All right. Okay, so the special weather statement for Mecklenburg and for northeastern York County has been allowed to expire. So the only polygon we even have on the board is the special weather statement right now for York and Chester counties. The special weather statement we had earlier near Columbia, that's gone. And again, this is only because I even turned on special weather statements. Most of the time when you watch TV, we don't even show you special weather statements. But I was trying to really get you guys ahead of the curve. And so that's why I've got those turned on. We know the National Weather Service was watching some very weak aloft rotation in Chester and York. And I would say the threat's not zero. The threat's still like less than 1%. I mean, even that rain that is moving over Mecklenburg, I mean, from the perspective of Columbia, like, yeah, maybe it's right there, but I mean, like, I can point to half a dozen other areas that have very similar, very high in the atmosphere. I mean, the National Weather Service does not want to issue tornado warnings for things that are... Where's my counter? Really high is going to be the answer to my question. There it goes. Beam height, 8,000 feet up in the sky or higher. They want, you know, they issue a tornado warning. They want you, like, to know that this thing is, like, on the ground and actually threatening you. Otherwise, we would get all sorts of wasted overwarning. South of Monroe, probably a pretty good light show here. If you're looking south from Monroe, Marshville, Polkton on US 74. Again, that's still really close proximity lightning to Uptown. I mean, I think our venues are done for the night. We had 2 big outdoor concerts happening, but like a lightning strike within a mile of Uptown makes me nervous. You know, have all those people gotten back to their buildings, their cars, their trains, I don't know, and 1 mile is like margin of error. That could have been closer, and that would have been bad. Would have been bad, in my opinion. So, glad it's not anything worse. I'm checking all of our chats. It is now midnight. Congratulations, you've made it to Sunday. And I'm James Brereton in Charlotte, North Carolina. You are watching storm coverage from the Carolina Weather Group. What about the flood threat? You know, that's a good question. Overall, we don't have a very high flood threat, I don't believe. I'm going to the experts on this topic for now Sunday, May the 4th. Is it May the 4th? It's Star Wars Day, right? Okay, anyway. And we have a marginal threat of flooding. And yes, this kind of works similar to the way the Storm Prediction Center outlooks work in that there's tiers, marginal being the lowest. So yeah, it's there. It's a valid question. It's a good question. Mostly the threat will be if you happen to get caught in one of these heavy thunderstorms, especially if you happen to get caught in 2 or 3 of them back to back to back to back. You know, the flooding threat might be the low-lying areas, like places where water runoff tends to pool. If you happen to live really close to a creek, maybe, but it's pretty low. So good question, and happy to say that it's definitely on the lower side. Yes, May the 4th be with you. I don't, you know, they're rolling over to midnight. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, it's a whole new day. It is a whole new day. We have Star Wars fans out there. I have not seen the Star Wars movies in quite some time, and we have started in my house now watching movies again. Where should I start? Should I start? What's that brand new one? There's a brand new series, right? That's on Disney Plus. I should know it, and I don't. Starts with an A, I think. Should I just start there? Like, I've seen the movies, but I haven't seen them in a long time. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about on Disney Plus. Yes, Jackie says yes with 3 exclamation points. Maybe that's what I'll do when we leave here. It's called Garden Variety Showers. No, Frank, not what's on the screen. What's on Disney Plus? These are pretty good thunderstorms for midnight. Yes, they are below the severe threshold right now. They have not been. We came on the air here at about midnight for a tornado warning, and we've been here ever since because I just can't take my eyes off of it. So, all right, I'm going to look up the name of this Disney Plus Star Wars thing. Andor? Andor. That's it. That's the show people keep telling me to watch. Hey, so the storms that are in that special weather statement for Chester and York now are in the range of the terminal Doppler radar in Charlotte, which I am grateful to have. I would trade it for a full power one any day. What do you got going on over here, York? Union? Union? I don't know why I said York. Yeah, it's very high. Very high, very broad. Let's go to quad box. Brace yourselves, everybody. We're going quad box. Yeah, so I mean, we're probably getting some hail right now in York County. Between like Smyrna, Clover, and York. Probably getting some hail there. What do you guys think? Be kind. Thanks for the coverage. Nice thunder just now in Harrisburg. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good night to fall asleep to thunder. It's a good night to be inside. It's a good night to be inside. Anything you guys want to see? Any place you want me to go? We got 7 minutes left on this special weather statement. I assume I'm going to stand here for at least 7 more minutes. I mean, everything I'm looking at now is fairly quiet. I think we've lost a lot of that daytime heating. We've burnt a lot of it off. Is that an outflow boundary? Felix, I'm not sure where you're looking, but I'm going to go ahead and say yes. We've seen lots of outflow boundaries popping up here today. We can see one right here now. Saluda, Prosperity. This is an outflow boundary. I think you guys can see my mouse cursor. Yeah. So we could see new storms popping off that outflow boundary. Like Ridge Spring right now actually has kind of its own showers going on, and then it's going to get hit by this outflow boundary coming out of McCormick. So that could actually pop off a new little heavy shower or thunderstorm maybe. We got a lot of lightning right now in Union, North Carolina, and in, is that Anson? Yeah. Yeah, it's Anson. Oh, yeah, okay. So Felix was talking about outflow west of CAE. So yes, I think we were just kind of generally in the same area. It's always funny with the YouTube delay because when I ask a question, it always takes 30 seconds before anybody really has a chance to type. So I think we were generally in the same area. Anything fun on the HRRR or other models in general? Well, let's take a look. I did see a comment from the National Weather Service as we were watching before, what was that, 11:30? And when we had that little rotation coming out of York County into Mecklenburg, they were kind of like, the helicity is kind of there, but it's weaker than even the HRRR had it at. So like what the HRR was kind of envisioning in terms of a tornado threat was playing out even lower in reality than it was calling for. Again, it's not zero. It's definitely a night to go to sleep with some sort of NOAA weather radio on. I am certainly going to do it. So let's see. We are about 50% into the 3Z run. More or less, that rain is where it's supposed to be, so the weather model has a good idea of what's currently happening. As we go through the overnight hours, the times are in Z, but I will tell you when we get to 8 a.m., okay? So working on through. It's going to take until we're still not, we're at like 4 or 5 a.m. here. So like right at 8 a.m., the heaviest of rain from this line, the line that is currently coming into the I-77 corridor by about 8 a.m. will be over Raleigh. And then what we do know from some of the earlier HRRR runs is that we could see, as we go through the afternoon hours, a few more discrete afternoon showers and thunderstorms pop up, your run-of-the-mill afternoon showers and thunderstorms popping up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, especially along that I-95 corridor. I mean, I'll also just say, you guys really want a fun thing, just watch as I play this through, the low that is circulating over Kentucky. You can see the way all of these storms kind of wrap back around like a central point. You guys are probably nerds if you're with me here at 12:10 at night, but if you're like, what the heck is he talking about? A lot of people are used to watching hurricanes rotate, and that certainly is a type of rotation around a low. This is not a hurricane, but this is the same general idea where all these storms are rotating around a central point. That central point there being somewhere in Kentucky, and you can kind of see again how everything kind of broadly is wrapping around that general area. We've shown you a couple times tonight the camera looking back towards Charlotte from what is essentially Bojangles at WCCB television. You can start to see some of the buildings now. You can start to see the visibility has returned a little bit from there. So somebody was asking what was west of CAE. We were talking about an outflow boundary on radar. The possibility that we could start to see some new showers and thunderstorms developing off of an outflow boundary. That outflow boundary is just to the west of CAE. It is right on in here. This is the outflow boundary. This is the winds out ahead of essentially these thunderstorms. So you got these thunderstorms moving this way. And honestly, they're not really even thunderstorms anymore. I'm not seeing lightning with them. There's heavy rain. And then you had some kicking back off this way from this guy. And so you kind of had in the middle here stuff kicking up a little bit. That's what we were talking about. Not heard of any significant power outages. I haven't really gone looking. I'm sure some are possible. I mean, Duke Energy is the biggest power provider in the area. I know they're not the only power provider in the area. They've got 5,000 to 6,000 statewide. Most of them are actually in the Durham area. In the Albemarle area, about 128 people. Yes, we do have a power outage at North Carolina State Route 27 and US 601. That is a question that I'm answering in chat. Let's look at this Kershaw storm. Let's go back to advanced mode, guys. Get all the boxes back up on the screen. I am just kind of perusing right now for anything that would warrant my attention. I can 1,000% tell you we still have thunderstorms out there, but none of them have warnings. This special weather statement was issued at 11:47, and I think it has expired. Yeah, it has expired, so that polygon's going to disappear. Going to check in with my National Weather Service chat. They're quiet. So as we go on through the overnight hours, we have a non-0% chance of seeing pop-up severe storms, having a way to receive warnings. Multiple ways to receive warnings would be really beneficial. And I'm not talking about two different apps on your phone. I'm talking about two different devices. So my phone, my NOAA weather radio, those are the type of things you would want to have as a mixture of ways that in the off chance that there is a warning, you want something to wake you up. We will continue to stream our Carolina Weather Net right here on YouTube. It has live warnings, radars, and sky cams. It will read out warnings. That's in beta testing right now, the actual audio alerts, but I know on nights like tonight, that's really helpful to have. It typically plays jazz music. So before I kick a bunch of you guys on over to the Carolina Weather Net, it's now after midnight. Do you want jazz music playing on that thing all night, or should I turn the jazz music off and just have audio alerts? I should say the audio alerts, again, are in beta testing. They seem fairly reliable, but that's why you have multiple. I don't want to be exclusively alerting you as much as I wouldn't want anything exclusively alerting you. But do you guys think on our overnight stream we should play music, or should we kind of go into like quiet mode and only shout alerts? I'll give a few minutes for you guys to type that into the comments here as I continue to watch. You know, we've got here at Carolina Weather Group HQ near Matthews, North Carolina, I think I got pretty close to getting an inch of rain, and most of that came in the last hour or so. So on the 3rd, on Saturday, oh, it's funny, it says half an inch now, but it was even higher before. It might be self-correcting. Star Wars music? I would love to play Star Wars music, Jackie, but that sounds expensive. Barry says I'm good with alerts. Jay asks, do we have any custom pronunciations for the bot voice? Not yet, Jay. Not yet. Women of Prayer says no jazz. Lisa says alerts. I think that probably means just alerts. Michael Johnson does say that Michael likes music, and I like music too, Michael Johnson, but we might be getting outvoted here. Yeah, so we want to work on things we want to work on for the Carolina WeatherNet. Different voices, different music varieties. I would love to add more information to the rotation when we're not in severe mode. So like severe mode, like we're going to take you to the storm, we're going to read out alerts, we're going to go to the radar. But when we're in between storms, I would love to do more like 5-day forecasting, maybe high tides, things of that nature. So yes, we're going to go ahead here in the next minute or so, and if you're watching the Carolina WeatherNet already, you don't have to do anything except bear with me. If you're watching kind of our standalone stream on YouTube, you will transition over to the Carolina WeatherNet, which again will have alerts being read out. Give me a minute, I'll turn off some of the music. That seems to be where we landed with our vote. And we'll turn it back on in the morning once everyone's kind of like woken back up. But I hope you guys find that useful. I'll be around keeping an eye on things myself for the next little bit before heading to bed. But I too will have multiple ways to receive weather warnings. So thanks again to everyone who has contributed a super chat tonight. Even if you just you subscribed, we love that. We'd love to have you back again for another night of severe weather or another night of our weekly weather podcast, which streams new episodes Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. We'd love to see you there. But until then, I'm James Brierton in Charlotte. Thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. May the 4th be with you, and stand by. The Carolina Weather Net Overnight Edition is coming up in just moments.